Hello everybody and welcome to this tutorial where we're going to show you how to make these beautiful tote bags. They are not done in the hoop, the designs are done in the hoop. There's applique designs and normal stitching designs, and then I'm going to show you how to make this fully lined tote bag. It's a drawstring bag. You can see it's fully lined inside and enough space for towel and for everything that needs to go with you to the beach. So grab your cup of coffee and join us for this fun tutorial. In the zip file, after you purchased the surf set, you will find a PDF file with the full cut list and a written tutorial. So you will cut all your fabric according to the sizes given on the sheet. Your front panel you will then take and you can center towards the bottom of your piece of fabric. You're going to stitch your design, I would say about 1 inch to 1.5 inches from the bottom where you can stitch your design. You can stitch this whole area if you want to, but leave the top half because that is where we're going to add our drawstring. I've already completed the one side of it because both sides is identical. Just to show you, this was the bottom of my fabric, but we need all this space to add our draw strip at the top. You will have cut your bottom panel as well, and also the drawstring strip, which you will fold in half. You'll see I've folded it in half, then iron it flat, and then when you open it up you will just fold the ends in again and iron again to form a strip like this. So just to recap quickly, I'll show you how to iron it. So you will fold your fabric in half, then take your iron, then open up your strip, and then the ends you will fold to the center mark and iron that flat. So I'll do this side and then turn it and do the other side as well, folding towards the center and iron it in place. So when you fold both ends in, you will have a strip that's neat on both ends. Just give it a quick iron from this side as well. There you go. And it's all ready. On the ends of your drawstring strip, you will fold 1/4 inch the edge on the short side, and then fold 1/4 inch again, and then just stitch right on the edge as far as you can, about 1/8 inch. You're going to stitch that in place. So we'll move over to the machine and I'll show you how to do that. There you can see it's neatly finished, and you're going to do the same with the other side. So I'm going to fold it over 1/4 inch, and I'm going to fold it again and then stitch it in place. You're now going to take your front panel and 3 1/4 inch from the top you're going to measure and draw a line. That will be just a guideline for us to see where we're going to place our strip. I've already, just to save some time, just marked out my area. So I'm just going to draw a line. And then take your draw strip and you can mark out the center by folding it in half And I just pinch it so that I know where the center is. And you can do the same for your front panel. Just fold it in half. And you can just finger press it so that you know where the center is. Then take your draw strip that you made and line up the centers. And you see I place my strip below the line that I just drew. So it's just touching that line. You can now use some pins just to pin it in place. I'm just going to turn my fabric and then pin on this side as well, making sure that your bottom fabric is neat and flat. You can now take it to the sewing machine, and we're going to stitch an 1/8 of an inch right at the edge on both sides. You're not going to close your ends, so you're going to start on that side and then go all the way down, a few stitches back and forward just to tighten the stitches, and do the same for the top. After you stitch it in place, just give it a good iron just to set the stitches and to get everything as flat as possible. We're now ready to add the bottom. So take your strip, and I might mention that this fabric that I've used is quite thin, so I've just added a layer of iron-on stabilizer just to thicken it up a little bit. I will show you now in a minute what it looks like. It looks like normal violin, but it's shiny on the one side. So if you look carefully, I don't know if you're going to see this on camera, but it's got one side that is a little bit more shiny, so that is your glue side. So you will put your fabric on top, then turn it and iron from the other side onto your iron. Do put a pressed cloth over to ensure that you don't get any gum or glue on your iron. After you've ironed it on, then you can just cut it out, and you have your finish that is quite stable and easier to work with. So I'm going to put my bottom strip and my front panel right sides together, and I'm going to stitch 1/4 of an inch the two sections together. After I stitched a seam, I'd like to just press just to tighten up the stitches. And I'm going to just pull over my fabric, and I'm going to just press the seam flat. You can press your seam towards your top fabric. And I'm now just going to top stitch to ensure that it will keep on lying flat. I'm just going to top stitch about 1/4 of an inch from where the two fabrics meet all the way down. Your front panel is finished now, so you can go ahead and do the back panel in the exact same manner. After you completed the back and the front panel, you can place them right sides together. Then line up the two strips at the sides, and you can just pin those together. And then match up your bottoms where the side panels, where the bottom panel starts. And then you can do the same on the other side, just to ensure that everything lines up perfectly. And you can now go ahead and pin all around the bag. You're now going to, on your sewing machine, stitch 1/4 of an inch both sides and on the bottom. You're leaving the top open. You have now finished stitching the sides and the bottom with 1/4 of an inch. We need now to cap our corners at the bottom. I want you to measure about, it really depends actually on how big you want your base to be. I like to have mine about 2 inches. So I'm just going to mark a 2-inch mark there, and I'm going to mark 2 inches on the side, and I'm marking from where your stitches are. So it's 2 inches from the corner of your stitching and 2 inches this side as well. You can do that on both corners. And flatten your corner to form a flat triangle. And try and meet up those 2 markings that you made. You made one on that side and one on this side. If it's helpful, you can push a pin through to make sure that you've got it perfect. You've got your marking, your 2-inch marking there, and you've got your 2-inch marking on the other side. So just try and line them up. If you want to be sure that you've got them right, you can push a pin through and you can see they are almost spot on there. Make sure your seams are on top of each other, and then take your ruler and you can just draw a line. This will be your stitch line you're drawing. So you're going to stitch on that line this corner closed. This is going to form the base of your bag. I'll just show you on the finished bag. You can see on this bag where it's finished, it's got a flat bottom so that it doesn't topple over when you place it down. So this is what we're doing at the moment. That's why you're capping that corner. If you like a smaller base on the bottom of your bag, of course you'll make your triangle a little bit smaller. So it all depends on personal preference. Do the same on both sides of your bag, so on both bottom corners. After you've finished, just turn your bag inside out. And push out the corners at the bottom. And you can see how the base is forming, but I just want you to take your ends and just pull them and take your iron and just set that bottom line on both sides. So you'll do it on both sides. So this top one I'll just pull open and press it nice and flat so that you have a nice boxed bottom. Okay, you can see I just pushed it flat, and I'm just going to set this side, and then I'm going to turn my bag and do the same for the other side. And on the short edge of your bag, you can just press that seam. You'll take your 2 lining pieces and place them right sides together, and then stitch the long sides and also the bottom, so you're leaving the top open. With the exception that when you get to the bottom, you're going to leave the center piece open, because we're going to turn the whole bag through this little opening so you don't have any seams showing. So basically you're going to stitch from the top, come to the corner about 2-3 inches in from the sides, and do the same on the side, leaving the side open. For the lining, we're also going to cap our corners. So you're again going to do the same that you did with the other one. So you're going to measure from your stitch line 2 inches up and 2 inches to the side. And I'm just going to draw a line and see if that's going to help you guys a little bit better. So it's 2 inches and 2 inches. And I'm now going to pull the two sections apart. You can place your hand inside if it's easier for you. Bringing my two seams together. And then you can measure, if you want, 2 inches from the point. And draw your line. So again, you're going to stitch on the stitch line and then trim 1/4 inch, and you're going to do both corners. And you can now go ahead and trim 1/4 inch away from your stitch line. With your lining finished and also your outer shell finished now, we're ready to join the two. So you're going to take your outer shell and just place it inside your front panel. Before we do that, first just mark for me your centers. You already got your centers because you got your side seams here. So we need to mark the center there as well. So I'm just going to take my fabric, place the side seams together. And then on this corner you can either make a marking, or I just cut a little notch from that side. And you can do the same on this side. And I'm going to do the same with my lining. So I'm taking it, my side seams together. You can now take your outer you now stitched the top two sides together, so you can now go to the bottom, and remember this opening that you left on the lining. You will now be able to reach in and pull your whole bag through that opening. And that will also flip your lining with the right side out. Just push out your corners of your lining. On your lining you can now just fold that opening, the side seams closed, and you can either hand stitch if you don't want to see the stitches, but because it's on the inside of the bag you won't really see it. So just fold the raw seams in and then just top stitch the opening closed. I've just closed the bottom, and you can now push your lining fabric inside your bag. So you'll take the whole lining and push it into the bag. After you pushed your lining inside your bag, you can just pull it out a little bit to form this, so that it looks like binding on the top edge, and then just iron it neatly flat. You can now go ahead and top stitch 1/4 inch where the two pieces of fabric meet, just to secure it in place. top stitched, as you can see, with the 2 pieces of fabric meat. After your bag is complete, we're ready to add our cording through. I've already added 1 cording. You need 2 pieces that is double the length of your bag, or the width of your bag, plus a little bit of extra so that you have space to tie off or to add some beads on the ends if you want. And so your 1 string you're going to enter from one side, go all around your bag and out on the other side. The other string that you've got is going to go the opposite direction, so it's going to loop on that side, so you have 2 loose ends on both sides with 2 loops on both sides. Now you can do this in 2 methods. You can either use a safety pin like I did here and then start to thread it through, or you can take a knitting needle, and I'm just using a piece of sticky tape and just tape it around the needle. And then this goes a lot faster because you can now just push your needle through in one go out on the other side and pull it through. And then it goes back in on the bottom, through again, and out on the bottom side. Very quick and easy. You can just cut this off. Just going to cut off the sticky tape here. And then you can just even out your ends, and your drawstring bag can now close. You can now add beads or whatever you want on the ends. I've just got sticky tape here just to keep it neat, so I can put a bead on. With this bag I've added some beads at the bottom. This one I just tied together, and I'll still decide what I'm going to do with this one. But you can really add anything to the ends that you would like to do. As you can see, we've got 2 sizes of bags. So we've got the smaller one, and then I've got the very large one. Both of these sizes and dimensions I will give you in the PDF file. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial and watching it with us, and that we will soon be able to see your lovely bags that you created using our designs. Thank you so much for joining us today. See you soon.